What's the one or two, in your opinion, biggest questions that we'll try to get answered the next day or two? And what are maybe one or two of the biggest storylines?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest question is Deion Sanders going to be there? With his health status and that situation. I mean, I put it pretty much at a coin flip. Obviously, the expectation is that all coaches are there, but we were surprised when he wasn't at the spring meetings, and then we got our answer as to why he wasn't shortly thereafter because of his health. And I'd imagine that he's trying to get as healthy as he possibly can and lead up to fall camp, which is the most important thing, and that's keeping the main thing. So it's also interesting that Colorado's sending two quarterbacks. They're bringing both Caden Salter and the 17-year-old and Julian Lewis. So those are kind of two questions that I have. And then, the thing that stood out to me, Smokey, and I'm curious for your thoughts on this. So it's covered the league as long as you have. I can't remember the league being this good and having this much depth along the offensive and defensive lines. To me, like, they've got at least 5 teams that are elite on both lines of scrimmage and offensive and defensive line. And then everybody else is at least good on one of the offensive and defensive line variety. Like Oklahoma State's a team that I don't know how much optimism you can have around Oklahoma State, but I think they're going to have a really good offensive line. BYU is another team. I think they're having a really good defensive line. So, like, to me, there are 5 teams, Baylor included, that are elite on their offensive and defensive lines, and then everybody else across the conference, like, is good on either their offensive or a defensive line, which I can never remember a time where that's been the case. And the other part to that is, like, usually this conference is flush with wide receiver talent, with skill position guys that are really good. And, well, I think they're going to have those this year. Like, for me, their bread is really buttered on their offensive and defensive lines, more so than in any other position, and certainly the skill position.